Blaziken arrives in Pokemon Unite in just a couple days, and here is everything you need to know about the newest all-rounder coming to Pokemon Unite. Blaziken is a physical attack-based melee all-rounder, so items like Muscle Band, Razor Claw, Weakness Policy, Attack Weight are all going to be great for this Pokemon. I'll talk more in depth about items in a minute. When you start out the match, you will start as Torchic, and you will be obviously adorable, as you can see. You will pick between either Ember or Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is a dash move, allowing you to deal damage to your opponents. And if you hit an opponent or a wild Pokemon, you will get the ability to use this move again in quick succession on your enemies right here. You'll be able to see Aerial Ace dash and then dash again, dealing more damage. Your second move as Torchic is Ember, where you will deal damage to your opponents at range and slow their movement speed by 50% for 1 second. Very basic moves for this Pokemon. You'll notice as I hit this enemy Pokemon, well, the substitute doll, I should say, with my moves and my basic attacks, I am stacking up these counters below the Pokemon. Those are your Blaze counters. Once they are fully triggered, when you hit 5 right here, right there, you can see an extra pop of damage on your opponent, as well as healing for Blaziken. You'll notice as my HP is low right here, when I get my stacks of Blaze up, I heal myself. When your HP is below 50%, you'll actually heal yourself more. You saw 275 right there. And as my HP gets a little bit higher right here, come on, 275, where are you at, buddy? 196. So you heal yourself for a larger amount when you're below 50% HP. All your moves and all your basic attacks will be triggering this passive right here, and it's going to make Blaziken really fun because you'll just be fighting and fighting and fighting and continuing to recover health by fighting more opponents. Now let's get into some more moves because they get really cool. At level 5, you evolve into Combuskin and you gain Blaze Kick, a move that will kick opponents and then also push them in a line whichever direction you are facing. It also will stun them if you knock them into the wall. You can see right there, the substitute doll was just not close enough, but if I kick them right here, you can see the stun over their head. So as much as you can, you're going to want to use this move to reposition your opponents and then also get them into an obstacle somehow so that you can stun them. I assume you're going to see a lot of combos like diving through an opponent with Aerial Ace just to kick them back into your allies or into a wall with Blaze Kick. Very soon, you are going to evolve into Blaziken. At level 7, you evolve, you switch out Aerial Ace for Overheat, an extremely powerful move. Let me talk about it. Overheat is a huge area effect move that does a ton of damage to opponents depending on how long you've charged it, and also shoves them. You can cancel the move early by tapping it immediately, and as you can see, the damage is much lower. 500 damage right there if I tap it early. If I go slightly before my bar is full, you can see the damage right here at 1166. But if you wait until your bar is full, not only will you shove your opponents, but you also do a ton of damage. Right there, 2327, and that's just at level 7. Overheat has a few really cool interactions. One of the biggest ones is that you can reposition it with eject button, which is huge. You can be charging your Overheat above you, wait till it's charged, reposition below you, kick eject, and then boom, your Overheat will hit this Pokemon below you. You could set up some really wild stuff with a combination like this, and I think it's going to make eject button one of the better items for Blaziken. However, considering that you're brawling a lot, a full heal is also very, very good. At level 8, you gain the ability to switch your stances between kick and punch. Kick, you're going to do more damage but slower attacks, and punch, you're going to do less damage but faster attacks with your basics. The biggest thing, however, is you're going to unlock 2 entirely new moves. In punch stance, you have Fire Punch and Focus Blast. Focus Blast just feels like an upgrade version of Ember from earlier. It deals damage in an area effect, which is pretty cool, and it slows your opponents. It's a ranged damage move that you can actually throw without hitting something, and you can see the explosion there will hit an enemy even if they're slightly outside of your range. It will lower their move speed. A nice little move, good for chasing your opponents, and also it's cool to have a bit of a ranged option for this character once it evolves into Blaziken. Then you have Fire Punch, and Fire Punch is so cool. Fire Punch will dash to your opponents, hitting them twice. If you hit them like that, you will be able to do it again. So very, very similar to Aerial Ace. Your Fire Punch and Focus Blast feel like just upgraded versions of what you start the game with Torchic. Fire Punch is really interesting though. Fire Punch, you can actually reposition yourself mid Fire Punch, which is really wild. So it looks like you're just dashing forward and dealing damage with it, but actually what you can do is you can dash and then pull back in the same Fire Punch, not before your second dash. You can literally do it in the same move. punch one way and then punch the other. You can go back and forth. You can continue to follow one direction. You can punch up, punch down. It's just a really, really cool setup, and I think you're going to see some amazing combos where you're fighting one enemy and then you punch, move forward, punch, pull back into the other. It's just a really, really cool move. Your upgrade for your move's Fire Punch is going to increase the damage you deal to opponents, and then your upgrade for Focus Blast is going to increase the slowing effect that you put on your opponents. But Blaziken isn't just about, you know, either the punch moveset or the kick moveset. It's about how you combo with both of them. Let me show you your other moves just a second here, and then I'll show you some combinations. The upgrade for Blaze Kick is actually massive. When you knock your opponents into a wall now, they are stunned for longer, and it really sets up a pretty cool combo with Overheat that I'll show you right here. You can almost set up a fully charged Overheat onto a stunned opponent if you knock them into a wall with Blaze Kick. There's a slight amount of time that you won't be able to hit it perfectly, but you can almost set this combo up exactly how you would want, knocking your opponent right into the wall and then immediately charging your Overheat right here. Boom, boom. And then boom, they're just out of it for 1 second. It's going to be really hard for opponents to avoid that. And I said 1 second, but it's not even 1 second. They are really stuck in this move. It's a pretty cool combination if you're able to get them into the wall. And then Overheat, like some of your other moves, is increased damage once you are able to get that upgrade. But let's talk about switching stances and how you're going to use this. Your moves are on independent cooldowns. So when you're inside of your kick version, your Fire Punch moves are cooling down and vice versa here. So if you use Fire Punch, use that, Focus Blast, move over to your kicks. Your kick moves are done from cooldown right here. You can move into your Blaze Kick, and then as soon as your Unite is back up, you can switch back to your other moves. You are just going to be comboing so much with this Pokemon, fighting, switching stances so you can go back to your other moves. It is really amazing. I cannot wait to play this Pokemon more because it's just going to be so fun in so many of these fights. You're just going to be juggling your moves the entire time. Now, there's also some interesting things that happen when you switch stances. So when you switch into your punch version, which is this right here, you get a move speed increase for a short amount of time. You can see that behind my Pokemon right there. When you switch into your kick version, you actually get an increase to your damage for a short amount of time. So moves like Overheat, Blaze Kick, and of course all of your basics will do more damage briefly. This combination is just going to be so incredibly satisfying. You're just going to weave in and out of your moves. It's going to be, oh man, I really can't wait for Blaziken, you guys. It's just going to be so incredibly fun and so powerful. I hope it destroys Mewtwo. I hope we never think about Mewtwo again with how powerful this Pokemon is. I just cannot wait. Now let's talk about some cool item combinations and some things that don't work exactly the way you might think that they do. First of all, I have Razor Claw and Weakness Policy on right here. These feel like almost no-brainer items for a Pokemon like this. I mean, you're going to be in combat the whole time. Every time you use a move, you get extra damage with Razor Claw. That, you know, includes your Unite move, your Fire Punch, whatever you're doing, you're going to be proccing extra Razor Claw damage, and then Weakness Policy is just going to give you a ton of attack. Not only that, as we talked about, your Blaze combos off of your max HP for your heals, so Weakness Policy will help you there as well. However, there are a lot of cool items that will work for this Pokemon. Of course, items like Muscle Band, Weakness Policy, Razor Claw will all be really, really great choices, but there are some other ones that are really cool and some that don't work the way you think they do. Items like Scope Lens, Attack Weight, you could use a Rapid Fire Scarf. All of these could be really, really great choices for this Pokemon. I'm really partial to a Razor Claw on this. It just feels like it makes so much sense. An Attack Weight also will be very, very good. Everything you do is based off attack, and this Pokemon has an okay amount of critical hit, so having something like a Scope Lens where you're going to be using your basics a lot and possibly critting with them could also be really great. Now let me talk to you about two items that are pretty weird. Buddy Barrier and Energy Amp feel like a great choice for a Pokemon like this because your Unite move, switching your stances, is used all the time. However, just like Dragapult, these items have an internal cooldown on this Pokemon that you could see on the bottom of the screen right here. So while you do use your Unite move and you get the Energy Amp bonus as well as the Buddy Barrier bonus, you can see at the bottom of our screen right there the internal cooldown of these items. They will not trigger again until that is up. It is 30 seconds for the energy amp, and it is an entire minute here for our buddy barrier. So no matter how many times I switch my stances or do any of that, none of it will activate again until the timer is up. Energy amp is up now, so I get the bonus from that here for a moment. And then very, very soon, energy amp is down, and I'm not getting the bonus from it, and I have to wait till both energy amp and buddy barrier are back up again before I get that bonus. For this reason, you probably won't run either of these items on this Pokemon. While they will activate pretty often inside the match, especially compared to some other Pokemon, you're just going to get a ton of value out of things like muscle bands and razor claws and attack weights, so you probably won't want to waste an item slot with this. While you will every once in a while get that buddy barrier and every once in a while get that energy amp, it might not be enough for dropping items that are useful to you throughout the entire match. For Blaziken's boost emblems, I think you'll be using something that looks a little bit like this: 6 white, 6 brown. This build right here is focused on getting a ton of max HP. This will help you with your extra heals. You also could play this more attack focused, and it would look something like this. A little like something like that: 2 blue, 6 brown, 6 white, less HP, more attack, little extra critical hit. A variation of these two is about what you're going to be running on this Pokemon. Truly, I cannot wait for this thing to come to Eos Island. I'm very excited about it. Its playstyle is so fun. Let me know what looks most powerful to you in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. I'll see y'all soon. Nerf Yeehaw.